Assalamu alaikum. Let me first express a gratitude for the prayer, the Kaddish prayer that has been expressed for the Palestinian and the loss of life. I know how significant it is with the Jewish tradition to offer the prayer, and this is symbolic of what is taking place at present time. Symbolic in terms of Empower, if not now, and AMP are coming together to craft a new path for change both in this country and hopefully to bring an end to the occupation that continues to oppress Palestinians, and I would say also to lock the Jewish communities in a relationship that puts one community against the other. We want to say today, specifically both to Senator Harris as well as to those congressmen and senators that continue to be silent, those who continue to be progressive except on Palestine. The time for progressive except on Palestine is over. The time to speak is today. The time to express the end and a call for human rights for the Palestinians, the time to call for protection for the Palestinians is today. We need to speak of the Gaza. Gaza is a very old and ancient city. It's actually one of the cross paths to trade routes from 4,000 years ago. And if you trace the history of Gaza, many civilizations have passed through that city. It is not surprising that 90% of Gaza population today are those that were expelled during the 1948 Nakba, expelled from southern Palestine to become refugees, and in essence they're stateless. Israel said or says that they ended the occupation on Gaza. That is a lie. Israel still controls everything that takes place in Gaza, including the registry, meaning if a birth takes place or a death in Gaza, the registry is controlled by Israel. The access of food, supplies, medicine is all approved by Israel. And therefore we say that Gaza is still an occupied area. And Israel have constructed Gaza to be the largest open-air prison that the world has known. And we need to challenge this on a daily basis. We need to actually bring an end to the siege. Israel, under the Fourth Geneva Convention, is responsible for the well-being of the Palestinians that live under occupation. It has the responsibility to make sure that their well-being is preserved, that they are taken care of, their medicine, their energy. Everything that pertains to the Palestinians under occupation is Israel's responsibility. And we said to Senator Harris, the United States is a signatory to the Fourth Geneva Convention, meaning that the United States is responsible as a signatory and contracting party to the Fourth Geneva Convention. But what we see today is that the United States is aiding and abetting Israeli crimes against the Palestinians. We know in law, if you knowingly gave a gun to someone that is going to commit a murder, you are actually complicit in the murder. You are an accessory to the murder. The United States gives weapons and supplies to Israel on a daily basis, knowing that these supplies are being used against the Palestinians. Therefore, the United States have to be held responsible for the crimes that are being committed on a daily basis. Now, the second part of my comments is the following. We need to challenge the media narrative. We need to challenge the media narrative that every day engages in the erasure of the Palestinians. And last week I said there is the crime of the bullet that hits the Palestinian, but there is the crime of the pen that erases the Palestinians once more. The bullet kills the person one time, but the pen kills the person many times over because it kills him in our own consciousness. This is the same that takes place in our own country in here with African Americans on a daily basis. When a policeman or a police person shoots an African American, that's one crime that is committed against him, the defenseless African American. But then the press goes on to tarnish that image of the African American. That is the crime of the press, that they actually erase and kill the person many times over in our collective consciousness. the media in here aids and abets Israeli crimes and begins to speak of the Palestinians, trying to find a way to excuse the crime that is committed against the defenseless Palestinians that are taking place. So we need to challenge the media narrative here in this country on a regular basis. And I know in here we're engaging in social media. Social media is a powerful tool in terms of trying to counter the narrative that is there. There is the narrative that is bought by those who have the resources, but there is the narrative of those who are from the grassroots that are trying to change and challenge the narrative that is there that erases the Palestinians. We need to say today that we are collectively making a change in our effort and our work in this country. We're staring at the 2018 midterm election. We are not going to allow any politician to continue to be silent on Palestine. Speak loud on Palestine. Challenge the narrative of Palestine. We need to say this to Kamala Harris, to anyone that continue to sign on many of these peace initiatives that are nothing but actually continuation of the status quo. In the Bay Area, I know many of you are aware of the whole notion of invest in peace. This is not anything but investing in occupation. This is nothing but investing in the status quo. This is nothing but continuation of the occupation. And I always say that you cannot actually construct a golden cage. A golden cage is still a cage no matter how golden it is. So invest in peace is nothing but investing or saying that to Palestinians that you need to have a golden cage but continue to live under occupation. This is something that actually dates back to the post-Oslo period, that both Shimon Peres and Ehud Barak forwarded that what we need is an investment in peace rather than ending the occupation. Palestinians want one thing and one thing only. They want freedom. Freedom, freedom and dignity. No, not an economic opportunity, not a McDonald's, not a quick shop, not a Starbucks. They want freedom. If you don't understand it in English, we'll tell you in Arabic. We want hurriya, hurriya, hurriya. That's what the Palestinians want on a daily basis. And if you don't understand it, pick a dictionary or take a class so you understand what freedom means. Therefore, today we need to celebrate two things. We want to celebrate the fact that a new broad coalition is coming together. If not now, is an important piece of the puzzle. AMP is an important piece of the puzzle. Empower is an important piece of the puzzle. JVP is an important piece of the puzzle. This is the new America, and this is the new projection of what we need to change both here and across the Arab and Muslim world. And I'm really feel excited to see this type of coalition emerging. Second, we're breaking our fast in here, which is very important, but we're breaking our fast to break oppression in Gaza. So we had to make a link that fasting is always connected to always thinking of those who are underprivileged, those who are hungry, those who are oppressed. So here in the streets of San Francisco, we break our fast in order to break oppression across the world and to make a connection between the local and the transnational, between what's taking place in San Francisco and what takes place in Gaza. Every street in our cities, there is a Gaza that belongs in here, and we need to make those connections on a regular basis. So thank you for coming. Thanks for this opportunity to come out and begin to work to try to free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Assalamu alaikum.